Here today with Jim Parshall from Eli Lilly. Do you still call yourself Eli Lilly, or is it just Lilly now?
Lilly is what we call it. Eli Lilly and Company is the official name.
Right. So you're a regular attender here at the HITLAB Summit, and you presented and talked about pharma and health IT and where it's going, which is really important for you and your company.
Right, right. Yesterday we had a panel, some great panelists, Laurent and David and Amy. We all talked about what's pharma's role in digital health, and everyone has a little bit different perspective. And when you think back 10 years ago when some of this really started building steam, pharma, like a lot of companies, dipped its toe in the water. What's our role? And where we're starting to rationalize some things is the patient-facing stuff, where I'm seeing in the whole industry and pharma a little bit of a pullback to figure out, okay, what's their role? What does pharma really play? But I see huge on the digital health side and in the lab space and the drug discovery space, huge forward progress on that, especially, of course, with AI.
Well, you know, you have to do your best to anticipate where the markets are going to go. It's more than a challenge in this current environment right now, isn't it? So what is the hardest part of this?
Well, the part of it is, when you think about it, pharma doesn't want to get between the provider and the patient, right? So a lot of this digital health, you go direct to the patient. So there's still some learning we're trying to do, and we're also trying to make sure the provider is engaged at all times. And so the right thing is how to find the right solution that the provider feels it's a great solution for the patients, and so they prescribe it. And then the patient has an engaging enough experience that they want to use the solution. Of course, you got to get the regulators on board, and if you want reimbursement, you got to get the payers on board.
Right. Clinical trials are a huge part of what you do, and everyone pretty much agrees that they could be more efficient. How do you see the newer technology assisting in that goal?
Especially for take-home trials for patients, I think there's a great opportunity to change what I'll call the source of truth. Right now, with a lot of take-home trials, you have patient-reported outcomes. They have a logbook. They'll write down the date and time they took a medicine, any adverse reactions, any other notes that eventually gets back to the clinic or the site that's hosting their trial. In more recent years, we've had what we call ePro systems, the electronic patient-reported outcomes. Same thing, you're typing something in on a phone or on a laptop. If we could get data from sensors directly into the clinical trial database, and even probably more importantly, data from delivery devices. So we have devices now that we know when a patient took the drug, whether it's injectable. There's technology out there when they popped a tablet or capsule out of a blister pack. Then if we can get that data directly into the databases, now we don't have the dirty, I call it the dirty data of patient-reported outcomes.
Right.
We have cleaner data. Higher fidelity data means maybe better dosing regimens can be developed. More importantly, for getting solutions to patients faster is with the more accurate, more timely data, you can shrink the size of the trials because the data is better. And then you shrink the size of the trials become shorter, and then you can get the right information out to the submissions, and the right medicines can get to patients faster.
Better patient outcomes. Yeah. I understand that you're getting a lot of questions about, or perhaps concerns about telehealth right now, which was a really effective tool during the pandemic.
Right.
What are the concerns with this moving forward?
Well, from what I see, it's almost similar to the clinical trial data. If you have a screen and you're talking to your healthcare professional on the screen, and you're having a conversation for something like cold symptoms, sinus symptoms, you can have a discussion. But if the clinician needs some more data, where is the data from the person side? How does that in real time get to the physician? So we're talking about connected products in the home or whatever location, and then getting that data in real time to the healthcare professional on the other side of the screen. So when that technology advances, I think telehealth is going to take off again. In the pandemic, it was almost necessary because it was hard for people to mobily get into clinics, and so we found ways. But still, you see a pullback in telehealth because the technology hasn't quite caught up yet, and it will.
I'm intrigued by this, and I heard this yesterday too. You talked about devices, these special devices, the watches and the rings, and different things that stick to your body, and the miraculous amounts of data that they can assemble. But the disconnect between that data and getting it to the platform or the place where it needs to go seems to be a pretty big challenge all across the board.
Well, I mean, getting it to a local patient database, whether it's an app on a phone or eventually to a cloud, is relatively straightforward. Getting it back to a healthcare professional could be where the challenge is, where people are seeing it. And more importantly, what the other thing we see in several presentations here at the conference is that call it care coordination. You have a primary care physician has one set of data, and now you got to get that data to a specialist. There's a lot of friction for that, and or just across several different healthcare professionals. There's a lot of friction. So how do we make that more interoperable? Again, getting that data across those boundaries.
Right. Okay. Well, I know of a couple people who are working on solutions, so maybe something will
and
come
they're
out
right
of this.
here. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. So I met some young people here at the conference, and they are here courtesy of Lilly. So tell me a little bit about your outreach to future medical stars.
Yeah, well, Lilly is a big fan of the sponsorship we have here today, because we're giving students a chance to understand a little bit more about industry through this event, and we're helping them learn how to even begin some of their networking. That'll be important in their careers as they advance into the life sciences industries and really go and help out patients, current patients and future patients. So we're glad to be part of it, and I'm happy to meet them all.
Yeah, well, you know, we have to cultivate the next generation, because as quickly as things are changing, you need fresh perspectives, you need fresh minds and ideas.
Young minds, fresh ideas, exactly.
Yeah. Well, good luck moving forward, Jim.
Thank you very much.
It's always really good to see you, too.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks.